we also have excitement happening in the MAC. Did I see this right? The MAC? The MAC is expanding? Oh, you heard those words absolutely correct. Yes, there will be expansion of the MAC conference. And guess who's gonna come on back? The UMass Minutemen. They are going to end their hiatus from the MAC. They spent some time as an independent. They were they reinstated their college football program back in 2012, and when they did that, they were in the MAC for a few years. Now, they were never a legitimate competitor in the MAC by any means, but UMass went on went to be an independent and realized that hey, maybe the grass is not always greener, striking out on your own. And so we get the news we will have a 13th team in the MAC. UMass has been invited to join the MAC as a new member today. The Minutemen did end up accepting, and they are set to join the MAC in all sports, not just football, but for all sports across the board, starting the 2025-2026 season. So you're not going to see UMass in the MAC this upcoming season, but down the road, a former MAC school coming on home. I mean, you just absolutely love to see that for the Minutemen, getting a conference affiliation for their football program. They were just not striking it out as a brand or a team on the field as an independent. So seeing them come back into the fold into this MAC conference, I think that's going to be beneficial for their brand. One of the more lovable brands in college football, and also joining a conference where UMass is going to be more competitive. They're not going to have as difficult of a schedule as what they had to navigate through in years past once they joined the MAC. So seeing them win more games is going to also help them build the brand from that standpoint. And also the MAC is just, it's a lovable brand. Everybody loves some action midweek. And I've so love the move for UMass. And that's not all. Oh, we're not even done yet here, guys. So you're probably thinking to yourself, well, you we did end up seeing UMass join, but that puts the MAC at 13 teams. Now, the MAC is moving away from what we saw in terms of the divisional mindset, so it doesn't hurt as much. But when you have an odd number of teams in your conference, it does create some unforeseen scheduling headaches. So there was some speculation at first on who that 14th team could be. Well, Kyle Rodwin, he works for the Toledo Blade. I'll try to get his tweet up on screen if I actually remember it. There's some sources out there that says that there's continuing to be mutual interest between the MAC and Western Kentucky. So we could very well see Western Kentucky be that 14th team. And I think that also makes a lot more sense for Western Kentucky. First and foremost, their football program. I don't think there will be any adjustments to their football program per se, because Western Kentucky is already one of the best football programs in Conference USA right now. Well, even when they go to the MAC, Western Kentucky, they're not going to come in and be a brand new guest. Of course, this has not been confirmed. Western Kentucky is not officially joined the MAC. There's just some sources out there saying that it could happen, that there's a likely chance that could happen. I would say greater than 50%. Not guaranteed, though. Weird things have happened before. But Western Kentucky, they want to be saying hi to everybody in the MAC and then go into the back of the bus. Likewise, Western Kentucky would actually step in and be at the front of the bus, actually towards the front of the bus. I would argue that Western Kentucky would be the best program, not just the best team, but the best program in the MAC if they chose to go down that road. You can make the argument that they're one of the best programs in Conference USA right now. But what's different between being in Conference USA and being in the MAC, one, the conference is a lot more stable. You hardly hear about teams actually wanting to move away from the MAC. It's a rarity, an absolute rarity that it happens. You don't see the type of changes that you see from, say, the American or Conference USA or even the Sun Belt as well. There's a lot more continuity in the MAC. It's just made up of teams that, maybe don't have a lot of ambitions to play at a higher level of collegiate athletics. They love where they are. They love the continuity and the camaraderie. The MAC is a very stable place. And that's just something that you can't say about Conference USA. I mean, the Conference USA has been rated as of recently. This time last year, we actually did not know if the Conference USA was going to survive. Now, Conference USA is doing its best, bringing up some certain teams from the FCS, but, you know, even with those additions, you could argue that the Conference USA is effectively on that life support still. So, more stability in the MAC. So, this is why I think it really makes sense for Western Kentucky to make that transition from Conference USA to the Mid American Conference. Likewise, Western Kentucky would not have to travel as much for conference games. And that's just not for football, this is for all sports combined. Many of the teams that Western Kentucky will play up against in the MAC are actually in neighboring states. So the vast majority of teams that Western Kentucky would play against in their new conference are in Ohio, are in Indiana as well. The farthest drive that Western Kentucky would go would be maybe Buffalo, possibly. But even then, it's a much more reasonable journey from a logistical standpoint than, say, Western Kentucky having to go to multiple different time zones, by the way, to go play a conference game. I mean, New Mexico State is not a short trip from Bowling Green, Kentucky. It's not like that at all. So, more continuity, more stability in the MAC. They would still be arguably a top dog in that conference as well versus where they are right now in Conference USA. Plus, in addition, you save money. You save money on travel and you're able to maintain other athletic programs much more easily than if you had to send non-revenue earning sports across the country for a conference matchup. So I really like this move for Western Kentucky if they ended up going down that path. But